Hi, my name is Stephanie Aikitwan Michaels, founder and CEO of the Stephanie Michaels Software Company. The Stephanie Michaels Software Company has pioneered a new software defined category, the film engine. While game engines were built for interaction, the Univah Film Engine is built exclusively for the cinematic arts. Univah is a real time 3D animation, motion graphics, and visual effects rendering platform that fundamentally implements the MovieLabs 2030 vision. By eliminating the render wall, Univah collapses traditional multi-day VFX and animation pipelines into a single live creative session. This allows filmmakers to move from initial concept to final pixel without the latency of offline rendering or the complexity of node-based architectures. Univah provides a unified environment where lighting, physics, and high fidelity VFX are processed at 60 plus frames per second, enabling a level of iteration and creative freedom previously impossible in professional film production. The traditional 3D animation and VFX pipeline is a series of fragmented linear silos. Historically, a filmmaker would design a scene in one application, simulate physics in another, and then wait hours or even days for a render farm to produce a high quality image. This wait and see cycle creates a massive bottleneck where creative feedback is decoupled from the actual work by 24 to 48 hours. The challenges of the old way. The render gap. Directors and DPs cannot make final creative decisions until they see the final render, which often occurs weeks after the initial performance or layout. Technical complexity. Standard industry tools rely on complex node graphs and baking processes, lighting, textures, and physics that require highly specialized technical directors, distancing the artist from the canvas. Hardware barriers. Achieving high fidelity results typically requires massive on site server rooms or expensive cloud render farms, limiting the volume of content a studio can produce on a budget. Univah was created to solve these exact frustrations by moving beyond the limitations of legacy game engine logic and offline renderers. Univah introduces a native film engine that handles planetary scale environments, complex religion VFX motion graphics, and photorealistic lighting instantly. For a 22-minute episode or a feature length sequence, Univah allows the production team to stay in creative flow. Instead of waiting for overnight dailies, the dailies are the live viewport. This software defined approach ensures that the final look is established on day one, allowing more time for storytelling and zero time spent on the busy work of rendering and data management. To address the traditional bottlenecks of 3D animation and visual effects, the Stephanie Michaels Software Company deployed Univah, a real time film engine that enables final pixel workflow. The solution focuses on three core pillars that align with the MovieLabs 2030 vision. Speed. Univah eliminates the render wall. By utilizing a proprietary real-time rendering architecture, filmmakers can see high-fidelity, 8K textured environments and complex VFX at 60 plus frames per second. This allows for the immediate generation of digital dailies during the creative session, removing the traditional overnight wait for render farm output. Iteration. Through the integrated attribute editor and Religion VFX toolset, creative stakeholders can modify lighting, physics, and scene composition live. Feedback is applied and visualized instantly in the final output quality. This near zero latency between a creative node and its visual implementation allows for hundreds of iterations in a single session, significantly raising the quality of the final story. Accessibility. Univah is optimized to deliver professional grade visual effects on widely accessible hardware, such as the GTX 1050. By democratizing high end rendering power, Univah ensures that filmmakers can maintain a Principle 10 workflow real-time feedback and iteration without the need for massive on-site server rooms or high-cost cloud compute credits. With Univah in place, the fragmented steps of layout, lighting, and rendering are converged into one unified live environment. There is no proxy stage. Editors and directors work with the actual final assets from the first frame, allowing for a seamless transition from concept to delivery. The primary challenge in traditional 3D workflows is the latency of imagination, the technical gap between an idea and its high quality visual representation. While industry trends focus on moving data to the cloud to solve connectivity issues, Univah solves the root problem by moving the final pixel rendering to the point of creation. Implementing a workflow that eliminates the need for offline rendering requires a robust, software defined engine that can handle immense data loads in real time. Univah is built on a live state architecture. Unlike legacy engines that require baking, lighting, or caching simulations, Univah's engine treats every frame as a live computation. This is achieved through several key technical components. Religion VFX, a native rendering environment designed specifically for cinematic fidelity rather than game logic constraints. It allows for simultaneous processing of high resolution textures and complex geometry without frame rate degradation. Raymarch editor integration. To allow for deeper technical iteration, Univah includes a live Raymarch editor. This allows technical artists to inject code such as sphere SDFs directly into the engine's core rendering loop. The visual result is updated instantly in the viewport, fulfilling the Principle 10 requirement for software-defined real-time feedback. One-click look dev. The architecture supports instant style switching because the scene data is decoupled from the rendering style. A filmmaker can switch from a photoreal PBR aesthetic to a stylized sketch mode with a single click. This allows for immediate look development sessions that would traditionally take weeks of retexturing and relighting. By maintaining the entire production in a high fidelity live state, Univah ensures that what you see is what you get. If a director requests a change to a light's fall off or a character's position, the Attribute Editor Manager updates the global scene state in milliseconds. This architecture proves that the 2030 vision of real time iterative production is achievable today through intelligent software defined design. Through the instant and iterative nature of the Univah Film Engine, directors and digital artists have fundamentally changed the way they build stories. By removing the technical anxiety of the render, the creative team is able to focus entirely on cinematography, performance, and world building. Acceleration of the creative loop. Because assets and VFX are processed in real time, the workflow is entirely nonlinear. This means creatives spend zero time managing render queues or troubleshooting export errors. Instead of waiting for overnight dailies to see if a complex lighting setup works, a director of photography can adjust a light's fall off, softness, or color in the attribute editor immediately to see the final pixel results. This allows for a level of happy accidents and spontaneous creative discovery that traditional high latency pipelines actively discourage. Interactive look development. The ability to switch between high fidelity PBR rendering and stylized sketch modes with a single click has revolutionized the look development process. Traditionally, changing a film's aesthetic would require weeks of retexturing. In Univah, this is a real time conversation. Stakeholders can sit together and explore different visual directions for a scene live, reaching a final decision in minutes rather than days. Democratization and sustainability. By optimizing the engine to run on accessible hardware like the GTX 1050, Univah reduces the financial and environmental cost of production. Teams no longer require massive, power hungry render farms to achieve professional results. This reduction in technical friction directly translates to reduced burnout for artists. The long, stressful hours usually spent waiting for renders to finish or fixing broken frames are replaced by streamlined, software-defined creative process. Thank you so much for watching. This is how the Univah Film Engine aligns with MovieLabs 2030 vision. Principle 10.